issue of the letter of the 21st of June 2023 to Advocate Bihari and to Mr. Sheka, just to orientate us. You issued the letter, you confirmed that neither responded to your letter. So from paragraph 103, you then state what subsequently transpired. Can you deal with that?
On page 28, 103, I was also instructed to withdraw charges against Brigadier Mkhwanazi. I addressed a letter to Brigadier Mkhwanazi advising that I had taken a decision to withdraw the internal investigation process and redeploy him to his substantive position. The effect of this letter was not to withdraw the disciplinary processes. In fact, it was deliberately meaningless as it purported to withdraw an internal investigation which at the time had been completed and on the basis of which charges had been formulated. This I did in a bid to stop the consistent harassment I was facing from the city manager and the two head of departments. In fact, therefore, the disciplinary process has not been withdrawn. I attach a copy of the letter marked JM 33.
May I invite us then to JM 33, which is in your big bundle from page 182. And according to, as you located, according to what you state in your paragraph 103, this is a letter you addressed to Brigadier Mkhwanazi after you had been instructed to do so.
That is correct, SC.
Before we get into the content of the letter, you say I was instructed to withdraw the charges against Brigadier Mkhwanazi. Who instructed you to withdraw those charges?
I was instructed by the city manager, Dr. Imogen Mashazi.
How did she instruct you? Did she write you a note to instruct you? Was it verbal? Could you tell the commissioners under what circumstances that instruction was issued to you?
She instructed me verbally. She did not put it in writing.
And that is what led to you to produce the letter to Brigadier Mkhwanazi?
That is correct.
That is then at page 182, according to your statement, that's marked JM 33.
That is correct, SC.
It's a fairly short letter. Could you quickly read it into the record? For the record, it's dated the 22nd of June, 2023. And once again, for the record, it is signed at the bottom. Is that your signature?
That is correct, SC.
It is addressed to J. Mkhwanazi, Director, Specialized Services, EMPD, copying G. Mzolo, Deputy Chief of Police, EMPD, and Dr. I. Mashazi, City Manager, COE.
That is correct, SC.
If you could, and the subject matter is disciplinary matter, J. Mkhwanazi, and then you give his pay details and how he's identified in the system. Could you read into the record the body of that letter?
On the 2nd of February, 2023, allegations of a very serious misconduct were received from the media query from News 24 journalist, Mr. Jeff Weeks, which implicated yourself and was subsequently investigated by the Internal Affairs Section, EMPD. To date, the matter has not been concluded. I, as the Municipal Police Commissioner, have taken a decision to withdraw the internal investigation process under the case number 0302-2023 and herewith redeploy you back to your substantive position of Director Specialized Services as from 26 June 2023. Hoping you find this in order then I've penned my signature.
And in your paragraph 103, you indicate that you use the words, and I quote, I quote, withdraw the internal investigation process. And you have testified and you have in your statement that you used those words deliberately and that they are meaningless because the actual investigation process had been concluded. Is that correct? So the use of the words withdrawal of internal investigation processes was deliberate on your part?
That was correct, SC.
Did it?
Chief, I'm sorry.
Yes,
Mr.
Chair.
Law. Chief, is that not an after-the-fact rationalization or justification? I'm asking this because what did you think the understanding of the readers of the letter would be? Would they not understand that you were basically saying that everything now has come to an end, you are withdrawing everything? Would that not be the reading of, would that not be the objective reading?
To me, not, Commissioner, in the sense that the investigation, our internal investigation, has already been concluded, and charge sheets have already been drawn by labor relations and the people whom they were appointed to deal with the matter.
Tell me, or please continue, I'm sorry.
And I received an instruction that I must withdraw my internal investigations, of which I did
Please-
to that letter.
Please tell me why you think a reader would have understood what you meant, what you subjectively meant.
Commissioner, after receiving the instruction that I must withdraw my internal processes, because the IPID personnel, always when they come to the department to do further inquiries, they will link up with the internal affairs unit to get much more information. And by then, our process, our internal processes, we have already concluded. It was already at a stage where it has been handed over to the tribunal where they have already prepared drawing up the charges. But because of the pressure and the harassment I was getting with regard to this case specifically, I felt that it was appropriate for me to also partially show that I am listening to that instruction, which didn't carry, in fact, any good weight in the case itself.
And how did you expect matters to unfold from that point onwards? That is, after you had written this letter. Did you expect anybody to continue with the prosecution of the disciplinary matter?
Chair, the powers with regard to disciplinary proceedings in the city, it was delegated to a divisional head, labor relations, the one who then appointed even the tribunal itself. The two other colleagues, which is Kemi Bihare and Linda Kasheka, they came in this matter. Meanwhile, by then, it was not even delegated that they can handle this matters. They only came in the picture when it was only this case of Mr. Mkwanazi. All other employees, we followed the process to the latter, where labor relations will do the rest with the appointment until the case is finalized. So this, out of all the employees in the city, this was the only matter which people have now to come in who were not delegated by then to do that. I think the labor relation expert, once he comes in here, he will be able to address that bridge, that gap, which I'm not maybe giving it 100% to the commission.
Yes. Let me perhaps ask my question differently. In the face of your letter, did you expect the prosecution of the matter, that is the disciplinary proceedings? Did you expect those to continue?
Commissioners, I expected the matter to continue. Even after that letter, I further requested further engagement as well with the ED of IPID.
And did you think the readers of your letter would understand you to expect the proceedings to continue?
I expected that, Commissioner, in the sense that I was specific that I'm not saying the case must collapse and there shall no further proceeding with that case.
Let me say this to you. Coming in cold, there is someone like me who knew nothing about the background, and reading your letter, I would understand your letter to be killing the entire DC process, or to be bringing the entire DC process to an end. Do you wish to comment on that?
I will disagree with that, Commissioner, that I was specific that I am withdrawing our internal investigation processes, which is the team I was heading. I wouldn't know what another reader can come with a certain conclusion, but I don't dispute what also the Commissioner is raising to me.
Thank you, Chief. Mapia.
Thank you, Chair.
Chief, Ms. Leita.
Yes, Commissioner Maule.
Chief, it's a follow-up on this question. The city manager gives an instruction to you. You say the instruction was to withdraw the charges. Realistically, could employee relations proceed with this disciplinary action in the light of that kind of instruction? If they become aware of it, that the city manager has instructed you to withdraw the charges, could employee relations realistically proceed with the disciplinary hearing?
Thanks, Commissioner. The instruction, I think the city manager, she's aware of who is responsible of drawing even the charges and the stage where that case was. She could have even instructed labor relations, the person who is in charge of drawing those charges, to withdraw. But all what I was told is that I must withdraw my internal investigations, whilst labor relations has already advanced themselves with even preparing the charges and appointing the disciplinary tribunal.
Well, your statement says the instruction was to withdraw the charges, not the investigation. You've drawn a distinction between the charges and the investigation and explained that's how you wrote your letter intentionally. But the instruction, according to you, in paragraph 103, was that you should withdraw the charges. So my question is based on what you say, that now there's an instruction from the boss of the institution to you. Employee relations becomes aware of it. Could they proceed with this decision? Even if you wished for it to continue, could employee relations continue with this disciplinary hearing now that the CEO has issued an instruction?
Regardless whether the instruction was issued to withdraw the case, technically I did not accede to that. Facing all the harassment I was going through and how I then worded my letter of the withdrawal of my internal investigation.
All right, and then, okay. Chief, when the city manager gave you the instruction to withdraw the charges, did she say why? Did she give you reasons for that instruction?
She told me that myself and the divisional head labor relations, we must stop to be personal to Julius Mkhwanazi. So of which there is no issues of personality here, it's just issues of principle and police principle and discipline. I cannot be found being selective in implementing discipline in my own department.
So other than saying to you, you must stop being personal, you and the employee relations manager, other than that, she did not give you a reason why this disciplinary charges must be discontinued?
She did not.
Okay. Thank you, Chief.
Chief, I'm not concerned with interpretation. Chair asked you about interpretation of the letter. We are now looking backwards. We're looking back 2 years. Factually, what happened? After you issued this letter, factually, did the city continue with the charges against Brigadier Mkhwanazi?
After the issuance of this letter?
Yes.
I think the divisional head labor relations will then be better placed to explain the immediate processes which took place thereafter. Because charge sheets were supposed to be delivered to Julius Mkhwanazi. I wouldn't have the dates, but the divisional labor relations will address that.
I think maybe let's leave it there for now.
Thank you, commissioners. and before we leave that issue, I'm going to ask perhaps what is might be considered an unfair question, and I must say it's a technical question. So if it is too technical and doesn't fall particularly within your area of expertise, please indicate. In your experience, in the EMPD particularly, once you have requested the establishment of a disciplinary tribunal and you have articulated the misconduct that you think an employee should be subjected thereto, you await an approval for the establishment of that tribunal, do you? Or do you depart from the premise that it will be established? So what you term your request for the establishment of a disciplinary tribunal, is it subject to somebody's approval? Can your request be turned down?
The appointment of a tribunal is delegated to the divisional head of labor relations in human resource.
Okay, now with reference to page 175, your annexure 28, and that is your request for disciplinary tribunal. Are you there?
That is correct.
And that document, it does state, that an accusation of misconduct is brought in terms of the disciplinary procedure against, and then you provide the details. It then requires you to lay out the nature of the alleged misconduct and overlift. It then requires you to make a choice between a departmental inquiry and a disciplinary tribunal.
That is correct, SC.
Here you make your choice and you say you are requesting for the establishment of a disciplinary tribunal. It then has space for the senior manager employee relations to, I guess, express themselves or a recommendation to human resources. And then lastly, that is the approval step. Once your request for the establishment of a disciplinary tribunal has been upheld, what power would you have over what that tribunal next does? Do you know whether, you might not have confronted such a situation previously and you wouldn't know, I accept that, but do you hand over the case to the tribunal or do you still retain some powers over what that tribunal does? Would you know? In terms of policy within the EMPD and perhaps the law, which I wouldn't necessarily expect you to be quite au fait with. Are you able to give us an indication, or are these matters you'd suggest we take up with somebody from employee relations?
Once the determination has been made from the department, which was on that page 176,
Yes.
where I have requested for establishment of a disciplinary tribunal, that docket is immediately handed over to labor relations. It could happen with labor relations that they pick up other issues which they feel